Today we got a new kind of review. This one's Animal Edition. Stay tuned.
Fuck our cats.
Can we review this movie?
In 5, 4, 3, 2.
I know, you see, somehow the world will change for me and be so wonderful. Live life, breathe air. I know somehow we're gonna get there and feel so wonderful.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. My name is Damien.
I am Alex.
We are OMC. We review movies. We make short films. Today, we are bringing you yet another movie review. Last night, we all went to go see Spider-Man Homecoming. Alex, what is this superhero movie about?
So everybody knows who Spider-Man is, and he's been around for a while, but this is a new version of him. We're moving into the new MCU, and Spider-Man is finally joining it. So, we are getting, not an origin story, but kind of getting to know this character. We don't need to see Uncle Ben again, and I don't even think his name was mentioned in the movie, which is kind of refreshing. But they're bringing on a whole new version of Spider-Man, and we get to see him kind of become the superhero that he is to be in the future films.
Man, this is the sixth one. You have Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, all through with Tobey Maguire. Then you got Amazing Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2, 2 with Andrew Garfield, and now we have Spider-Man Homecoming with Tom Holland. And oh boy, does he do a kick-ass job in this movie. He is a great addition to the new cinematic universe, and he is a phenomenal Spider-Man and Peter Parker. He does really, really good in this movie. And it's very exciting to see a Spider-Man movie, but it's also very scary because, in my opinion, the first two Spider-Man movies are probably my favorite superhero movies and what I think maybe the best comic book movies. And then the third one came out, and the quality dipped a lot. I'm not going to beat around the bush. It dipped quite a bit. And then they were like, okay, we'll redo it. We'll try it again. Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. And I was like, okay, cool. Switch up the actor. You have to. Switch up the plot a little bit. Change it up a bit. And that one was okay. It was definitely promising. Wasn't my favorite one, but I was like, okay, I like this. Let's see where they go. And then the second one dipped immediately. And now we're back at it again. New actor. And I can safely say that this is the best Spider-Man movie since 2004. This movie is so much fun, and if you like Spider-Man, there's no way you don't like this movie.
No. Now, finally, that we're getting Spider-Man into the MCU with all the movies that they've already succeeded extremely on, because any of the Marvel movies, even if they're not your favorite one, they're all good. They've done such a good job bringing all of these superheroes into the fold and building a universe around it. And now that they finally have Spider-Man back and under their control, they can do what they want to with it. And we're getting that Spider-Man that is just fun, the friendly neighborhood hero that's like, I think he's 15 years old in the movie. And so it's just, it's very refreshing to see Spider-Man in that. And it's really cool to finally see him interact with characters from the MCU, like we did in Civil War.
And they do that very well in this movie. Because beforehand, I saw the trailers and I was like, man, they're showing Robert Downey Jr. a lot in these trailers. And now I know that was just to get people into the movie. And get people to be like, wait a minute. Oh, so Spider-Man is like in their movies now? And he is. And they do a very, very good job at walking that line of Spider-Man is in the Marvel Universe now, so these other people exist, Iron Man, Captain America, and they do it a bunch, but it's the right amount.
Yeah.
It's never like, why are you doing this? You're doing this
things,
just to be like, oh, don't forget, he's in this movie. Tony Stark is in it as much as he needs to be, and he plays a very, very important role in it as well. Everybody in this movie is Tom Holland is very new, but he's a star. He is so good, and Marissa Tomei as the hot Aunt May, and one of the new saving graces of this movie. Not that it does need saving, but it doesn't help to have a helping hand. And it's Michael Keaton as the bad guy. Because if you can have one complaint about Marvel movies, it is that their villains are very either underdeveloped, not threatening at all. Now, whereas the villain in this one, to some extent, wasn't near as developed as, let's say, some like movies where they spend like 80 minutes on a villain. It's not like that. But Michael Keaton is such a good actor that you buy it 100%. And he's one of those villains that you kind of side with a little bit, and those are the good ones. Those are ones where you're like, I get why you're doing this, dude. Like, I get it.
They really did kind of delve into his character more than I expected. kind of starting out with it, you get to see where he's coming from instead of just jumping in and him already being a villain. So you get to have that moment of understanding with the opposite side of Spider-Man,
So
the guy
comparatively,
that he's going up against.
Comparatively to other MCU movies, the 13 of them,
Yeah.
this is one of the best villains that we've gotten, and it definitely helps that it's played by Michael Keaton, who is so good, and he
Playing another bird character.
always playing. You got Batman, you got Birdman, and you got Vulture now. You got. All right, so let's rate this movie.
Let's rate this thing.
Okay, so Spider-Man for me is probably one of, if not my favorite Marvel superhero. So I am always very excited whenever I see a movie. And the first two, Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi Spider-Mans, are very close to my heart, and I love them to death, and I will always rewatch them. And we were watching a couple scenes before we went to go see Homecoming, just to like freshen up and just kind of be like, oh, get in the Spider-Man mood. And I am very, very happy to say that this movie does very well to stand up to those Sam Raimi ones, in my opinion. Every character in this movie, every actor is coming to play. Everybody's a star. Michael Keaton as the villain does a very good job, and he's actually menacing. He is a threat to Peter Parker, and that's what Peter Parker needs in a Spider-Man movie, because he is just a kid. He needs to have problems, and he needs to be out of his league almost all the time, and yet come out on top, and he does. Tom Holland does even. He has such an obstacle in front of him after two actors playing Spider-Man, and two actors that I think did a great job. They just ended badly. Tom Holland really comes in, and he makes it his own, and he does a great job, and I am very, very happy with this movie. The action kind of blends in a couple of times, because it is Spider-Man action, and that's what I call it. It's the action everybody knows in a Spider-Man. Whether you see a comic book, whether you play him in a game, whether you watch a cartoon, it's just the action you expect. And while there is a couple of new things, there's definitely settings that you've kind of already seen with just different objects and stuff in them. So some of that blends together, but the end fight with Vulture and Spider-Man is very unique, very cool, as long as it needs to be. And I guess one of the only things that bugged me, other than the small nitpicky stuff, is probably the score. The movie opens with a really awesome throwback to Spider-Man, and I was like, yeah, this is like awesome, but the score is made by Michael Giacchino, who did Rogue One, who did like Star Trek, Jurassic Park, and his music kind of all just blends together, and it sounds like everything else he's kind of already done. So like during like the end fight with him and Vulture, there was like music and a lot of like violins and horns, and I was like, this kind of sounds like Rogue One a little bit. I was like, but again, it's small stuff that won't really affect my score in this overall great movie, and because of that, I will give it 9.5 web shooters out of 10. I had so much fun in this movie, despite the nitpicky stuff, but at the same time, it's too small to hurt this movie and hurt Tom Holland's performance. So I really liked it.
I really liked this movie. I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun in the movie theater, and I think that this one does stand out in the whole slew of Spider-Man movies that we've gotten. I think this one does stand out as one of the best ones, one of the much better ones. I don't know, it's just, I think they did a really good job with Spider-Man's character and Peter Parker and the way that he turns into that, and I mean, not that he turns into that in this one because he already is Spider-Man, but the way that he accepts that role of a superhero and the way that they play on the emotions of him doing that. I think it was a solid Spider-Man movie.
It's also very funny.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew they were going to be making jokes.
Yeah,
it's a Spider-Man movie, and it's also Marvel. It was very lighthearted, and I was happy with the comedy that they put in there. They didn't overdo it. I don't think. I think it was pretty solid.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give it an 8.
8. Wow.
I'm going to give it an 8. I'm going to give it an 8. I'm going to give it an 8 rhinos out of 10.
Ooh, throwback.
Deep cut.
That's a
Deep cut.
Alright guys, so thank you so much for watching. While we don't think Spider-Man Homecoming is the best MCU movie, and while it may not be the best Spider-Man movie, it is still a great addition to this Marvel Universe, and a great addition to the Spider-Man legacy and like saga as a whole. But yeah, we really enjoyed it, and we are very excited to see where it goes from here. So, as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. We are OMC. My name is Damien.
I'm Alex.
And as always...
have you done?
It's just so
He just knocked the
fucking
audio
great.
over.
It's just so fucking great.